Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, giving you commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. And thank you guys so much for being a part of this. Let's get started with today's review of Monday Night Raw. Now, before I get started with that, let me just say today is the birthday of the King of the Ring, Overlord Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. Congratulations on becoming king. And let me know in the comment section below what is your favorite Cody Rhodes match. And I'll be linking in the cards or in the end cards my top 10 favorite matches of Cody Rhodes. So be sure to check that out if you're new to the channel and you've subscribed in recent months. However, let's start about Rhea Ripley opening up the show with Io Sky challenging her for the Women's World Championship to happen at Evolution in my former hometown of Atlanta. However, I would like to point out something very interesting because the last time there are two statistics we got to bring up. First off, Rhea Ripley has never defeated Io Sky, so that's one thing. The second statistic we have to bring up is the fact that the last time Io Sky was champion and she challenged a contender, she ended up losing the championship. And the last time she did that was ironically against Raquel. And Raquel ended up becoming NXT Women's Champion. Raquel, by the way, is still Women's Tag Team Champion, but apparently her female intuition isn't digging Roxanne Perez. And if you know what I said earlier, for those of you who are new, I'm going to tell you how I think this story is going to go. This story, to me, is going to involve Roxanne Perez getting too close to Simp 19 Dom. Now, for those of you who have been with me for a couple of years now, you know that in a humorous matter, because he is a villain of pro wrestling, I call Dominic Mysterio Simp 19 Dom because he turned on his father for a woman and then betrayed his woman for another woman. You can always tell how a person is, a foundation of a thing, by how a person is in their decision making. So, moving forward, I think Roxanne Perez is gonna get with Simp 19 Dom. And we may as well call Dominic Mysterio Cheat 19. When Eddie said cheat to win, he did it but it was funny. However, Dominic Mysterio is going to redefine cheating because he's going to cheat on everybody except his real life wife. That's just how I look at it. Also, we saw Gunter come out and cut a promo about Goldberg. I don't know. Now, I got to be honest with you. I don't know if this match is going to be as good, but I have to say that Goldberg of 1998 through 2003 would have had a huge chance against Gunter. And in fact, not only would have had a huge chance, he probably would have won the World Heavyweight Championship if this was 2003, if we go back 20 years in time to Ruthless Aggression. However, times are different, and I don't know if this is going to be the strongest Goldberg. It would be nice if it were because we could have a great match. However, not sure. But I still want to see what happens at Saturday night's main event. Speaking of Saturday night's main event, we got another match made because Seth Rollins comes out and talks to Gunter after trying to ruin the WWE Championship match in Saudi Arabia. Glad everyone's back overseas safely, by the way. But I must say, Charles Robinson, I didn't say this in my Night of Champions review, Charles Robinson is the fastest referee alive. But the way John Cena interfered with Charles Robinson going to make the count, it was like he was a linebacker, for goodness sake. And John Cena has football experience, by the way. But tonight, as Seth and Gunter were talking, CM Punk makes an ambush to the ring. Then LA Knight attacks Seth as Seth is trying to escape. Gets on a private jet, Seth does. And the thing that is getting me about this story is I don't know if we're going to get a triple threat match between Roman versus Punk versus Seth at SummerSlam. I don't know how things are going, but something in me tells me we're going to get that. But the reason I question the future and why you can never always predict everything is because LA Knight's involved. And LA Knight's going to face Seth at Saturday night's main event the next weekend. So I'm very curious to see how that runs out. Plus, Roman Reigns will be doing a Street Fighter movie, has been busy doing Street Fighter. So we got to see how that turns out. I think that's going to be cool. I'll watch the show just to hear his voice. Now, with that being said, we saw, speaking of triple threat matches, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria go at it, only to have both shoulders pinned to the match, which there's only one thing left to do. Have all three, Becky versus Bayley versus Lyra at SummerSlam. That's just how I look at it. With that being said, let's move forward. I believe I covered a lot of good stuff. With that being said, and by the way, the Judgment Day are new tag team champions, defeating the New Day. And let me just ask you guys this. I wanted you guys to tell me something. Which theme best suits Judgment Day? The new rap version or the original Other Side by Alter Bridge, which was brought in by Edge, by the way, before you guys turned on him. But who is the best version of Judgment Day's theme? The rap version or the Alter Bridge version? Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? We saw the main event tag match between Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed versus Sami Zayn and Penta. And let's be honest, those guys did the best they could. But that spear from Braun Breaker to Sami Zayn ends the match. And you got to think that Sami Zayn had a disadvantage because he was attacked earlier by Karrion Kross. So, first of all, at least they're keeping Karrion Kross busy instead of just having him backstage talking so much. Let's see where it goes from there. That being said, Braun Breaker and Big Braun, whatever. Oh, it's Braun. I'm trying to remember what Punk called him. Braun won the match. And so that happened. But it wasn't enough, so now Jey Uso has to come out and make the save for everyone. But I still think there's a part of me, and I think I'm saying this because this is what I want to see, but I still think there's a part of me that is going to, I think a part of me is going to wants to see Roman versus Punk versus Seth Part 2, because that was one of the best triple threat matches of the weekend. We had a lot of great triple threat matches of WrestleMania weekend, and let's be honest, the Roman versus Punk versus Seth was second place to Io Sky versus Bianca versus Rhea. So I want to see that again. But we got to see what happens when Roman returns. But in the meantime, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you think about tonight's episode of Raw. I'm your host, Dan Cody. Happy birthday, Overlord Cody Rhodes, King of the Ring. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you think about this show and the commentary. I'm your host, Dan Cody, and I will see you next time.